abuse, destroy property for no reason, loot, and we don't have the time even, and I think it's better not to get into where it leads to. And I think this is also our approach when we come to Gaza, to speak about the operation in Gaza. When we talk about Operation Cast Lead, Breaking the Silence is not a pacifist organization. The booklet that you hold of testimonies from Cast Lead is out of testimonies of 26 different soldiers who served in Gaza. Half of them are still serving now in the IDF, are conscripts who still serve. Most of them were even in favor of the operation. Some of them were against the operation per se. They spoke to us because they're against specific tactics, specific methods, specific missions, specific orders they received. Some of them because they're against all the operations, some of them because they're against parts. This work about Gaza is in a very... I'll maybe try to tell the story of how it started, why we did this work, because it is not something that we usually do. The concept of breaking the silence is always that soldiers need to get out of military service and have this half a year time to reflect on their military service, see things differently, and then willing to take the stand and speak out. But somehow we were sitting in our offices and watching the operation on Israeli TV. And something in our guts and in our instincts as combat soldiers told us that this time it's different. That this is an operation we haven't seen before. And it drove us to give it a try, to try to find out whether we're right or wrong, whether this is something different or not. And right after the operation ended, we started picking up phone calls, making phone calls to our guys to see whether some of our guys served there, or they know someone who served there. And slowly we started meeting people coming out of the operation. And I must say that the first 4 or 5 people we met, we didn't believe them. They were talking about a different military. They were talking about a different IDF, a different Israeli Defense Forces. Not the military that we know, especially not the military that I know from my experience. I served 3 years during the highlight of the Second Intifada. Since I ended my military service, all what I do is deal with, in a way, the bad side of our military. But this is something we haven't heard before. And we continued on, and another 4, and another 5, and another, and after you hear 20 soldiers, you kind of say, okay, they all talk the same, they all describe the same, they're not lying. And what maybe I'm going to try to do is explain why we were shocked. What was so different? What was new to us? It is not the specific stories, though, how horrible they are, that shocked us. And I just want to give an example. And first I would say, I'm very, very sorry if this talk is going to be like a very dry, military, tactical briefing of trying to talk about, how military works and why and how. But I think at the end you will understand why I'm doing a very... why it's so important, these things, these parts. This is a map of the Gaza Strip. Gaza City, the brown part at the top there. There are basically 4 invasions into Gaza. From the top, the red arrow, that's the paratroopers brigade, entering from the north in an area called El Atatra. From the east, the brown arrow, Golani Brigade, another infantry brigade of the IDF, and the south, the purple Givati Brigade, and another small invasion between Rafah and Khan Yunis of 2 battalions in. 1 battalion is around 500 combat soldiers. I'm talking about troops that were standing here, south of Gaza City, in a neighborhood called Zaytun. The most southern house taken over by the IDF, on the main road of Gaza, which is called Salah ad-Din Road, from the Elis crossing in the north down to Rafah. Crosses all the Gaza Strip. Their job is to cut the Gaza Strip to two, not allowing anyone crossing north-south, south-north. In the middle of the night, one of the soldiers standing on a post suddenly recognizes someone approaching them on the main road 200 meters from the south. Right away reports, goes on the radio, reports. And the sergeant comes to the post, takes a night vision scope, looks around, and right away understands the guy is not a threat. He's walking full profile on main road, not trying to hide, flashlight on, looks like he's looking for something. He goes on the radio and reports it, and requests permission to fire what we call in the military warrant shots. The idea is we'll fire 50, 60 meters near him. You will understand there's military here, and leave the area. The company officer, he hears the report, tells them, don't shoot, wait. Very excited, he's running, coming to the post, sees the situation, and his orders are, don't shoot till I tell you. He goes around the house, collects all the sharpshooters, puts them on the roof. The Palestinians are already 150 meters from the house. Sergeant goes on the radio and requests permission to shoot again. And the answer is no, wait, you'll see. The Palestinians are already 100 meters from the house. In this distance, you can already see whether he has a rifle or not. And the sergeant sees that he's not armed. He goes on the radio and reports, he's not armed. The answer is wait, don't shoot. The Palestinians are already 80 meters from the house. It's already dangerous. You cannot see actually if the guy has a suicide belt or not. So it's either you take him out or you get him out of the sight. And the order is wait, don't shoot. The Palestinians are already 50 meters from the house. The sergeant gets really, really aggressive on the radio. And the company officer gets more aggressive and shuts him up and tells him, wait, you'll see. The Palestinians are around 30 meters from the house. Company officer gives the order. Sharpshooters on the roof open fire. They kill him. He goes on the radio and says, what a great opening for the evening. The next morning they send a dog to check the body. No explosives, just an old guy with a white t-shirt, a flashlight, and a beard. Now, I bring up this story to say that this is not what shocked us. You have to excuse my language, but in military operations, shit happens. This is not what's unique in Castle. This is not what brought us to continue and dig as deep as we can to understand what took place in Gaza. The story of Gaza is way more institutionalized and goes high up to the strategy and to the way this operation was thought.